Okay, so I'm here with a little update, answering some questions that have been asked to me over the past couple of days. One of the questions that is frankly annoying to me is, why can't you just find him? You have his name, and you have this, and you have that. I don't think you understand how shaky this information is that I have. Um, Also, there was a question of, well, you need to talk to your mother, get as much information from your mother as possible, blah blah blah, whoop de whoop. Let me tell you something. I'm having just as much of a difficult time with my mother as Kurt Franklin was having with his mother, as far as the attitude and um, the opposition to this discussion. My mother and my father apparently had different stories concerning the situation surrounding my conception, okay? My mother says that when they met, she did not lie about her age. She simply said a woman doesn't tell her age. I told her that lying by omission is still lying. That's one of the things we got in an argument about. My father said that and this is according to one of my aunts, the aunt that went to go talk to him, because my mother did not want my grandmother to go talk to my father. She wanted her aunt to go talk to my father. This is when he found out that he had impregnated a 16-year-old. Okay, up until this point, he did not know my mother's age for sure. When he asked her, inquired of her age, she said a woman doesn't tell her age. So she was being sneaky. But in her mind, because she didn't say a number, she didn't think she was lying. That's problematic for me, because all these years I had been having an ought towards my father for leaving. But you have to understand, my father not only was married and had children, but this man was in the military. So if he had in any way gotten in trouble for impregnating a teenager, whether he knew her age or not, he would have not only gone to jail, but he would have been dishonorably discharged from the military. He would have lost possibly his wife and access to his children and a way to support his family. His freedom. I see why he ran. And apparently there was some thought that he, might have gone back to Texas, where he apparently went to school at. My mother told this information to the child support office or whatever when I was, a baby. And they weren't able to find him. They weren't able to come up with anything. But I wanted to put that information out there because people are wondering, well, why, you have this information. Why can't you just find him? It's a little more complicated than y'all think. And I'm sharing this information so that you know this is the difficulty with what's going on. It's like I'm more disappointed with my father for leaving. I'm more mad at him for cheating on his wife. I'm more disappointed in him for leaving. I understand why he left, because the man didn't want to go to jail. The man didn't want to lose his career. Yes, he should have thought about all that before he cheated on his wife. Yes. However, if you, and I don't know whether he was, the main, earner in the household or whatever. His wife could have been working. I don't know. But even if she was working, having that military income, I'm sure helped. They might have been in military housing for all I know. I don't know. But all I know is, if a man is married, he's a grown man in his 30s, possibly 40s maybe. He's older. He's married. He has kids. He has a military career. He gets with this girl. He sleeps with her a couple times. She gets pregnant. Next thing you know, he's finding out from her aunt that she's 16. Meanwhile, he didn't know how old the girl was. She told him, you don't ask a woman her age. And he didn't push the issue, of course, because it was the 80s. Wasn't nobody checking no IDs back then. Ain't nobody, this is the fall of 85 when all this was going on, okay? I understand why he left Florida. I get it. Am I still hurt by the fact that I didn't have my father? Yes, I'm still hurt by that. However, I'm more giving my mother the side eye because of the fact that she purposely concealed her age. Now, I'm not saying that this same man that was willing to cheat on his wife might not have still slept with the 16-year-old. I'm just saying you didn't give the man a chance to say whether or not, and my mother was dishonest previously about her age with somebody else. But because she didn't tell my father a number, this lets her off the hook in some kind of way. And this is what we got into an argument about a few days ago. I'm like, that's still lying. Well, I own up to what I did and blah, blah, blah. No. It's hard when you're getting everybody's side of the story, but the one person. I've heard everybody's part of the story. I know how I feel. I've heard my mother's side of the story. I've heard aunts and my grandmother and everybody say how they felt about the situation. But the one person whose feelings I want to know the most, I don't know yet. And this is one of the reasons why I need to find my father, because I want to hear his side of the story. I'm hurt and I'm frustrated by the fact that this is so complicated. But yeah, it's more complicated than y'all think. And of course, I didn't want to make these videos so long, but this is information that is necessary to understand the full scope of everything. And yes, it's embarrassing. Okay, yeah, it's embarrassing, but it is what it is, And I really hate the fact that my mother is more concerned about her own feelings than she is mine. That's what it feels like. Because I know you're embarrassed about who you slept with. It happens. But I remember distinctly asking my mother questions about my father when I was a little girl. And her response was, when I would say, well, what did he look like? How tall was he? She would say, I'm trying to forget. I'm trying to forget. You ain't got the right to talk about you want to forget. And the only reason why she was saying that was because she was ashamed. So now I have to suffer because of your shame. I have to suffer because you made a mistake and you don't really want to own up to it. My mother had told me previously that she didn't find out that he was married until after she found out she was pregnant. She told me this when I was a child. I don't know why people think people don't remember what people tell them when they're children, but I remember, because this is serious. So I remember everything that my mother told me about my father. She said at first that she didn't know the man was married until she found out she was pregnant. That was a lie, because he was on the radio with a man named Walter Bell. And he was talking, you know how DJs get on the radio and they talk about their lives or whatever. She even knew the woman's name. Kathy. It's either Kathy with a C or Kathy with a K. I don't know. Then she said about, not divulging her age and whatever. And it's like, I'm just tired. I'm 37 years old. I got kids, man. I have a baby and I have a baby on the way. I need to know. I need to be able to talk to my father myself and ask him questions myself. And I can no longer care more about my mother's feelings and her embarrassment and her feeling like, because all my life she's told me, you act like you would eat him up and you act like you love him more than me and you act like you're not as mad with him as you are with me. I'm equally mad with both parties for different reasons. But I understand why he left. I get it. Disappointed, but I get it. So, yeah. And I know this doesn't put my mother in the best light. Doesn't put my father in the best light either. But it's the truth. And I'm sick of hiding. And I'm sick of people trying to tell me how to process my own life. It happened to me. Okay? All this stuff leading up to my conception is my business. And I have the right to want to know the truth. And if you have grown up with your father, you were raised by your father, and you have something negative to say about this situation, take your lips and smash them together. If you have a father that has outside children, and you don't feel too great about that, and you want to try to tell me to leave him alone, like some of my family members have told me, some of these aunts have told me, hey, that man is married. Okay, Ann. He's still my father. I still want to know who he is. I still want to, I deserve to know. Just like you grew up with your daddy and you had your daddy in the house and you knew things about your father and your father's people, I deserve to know about my father and my father's people as well. That's all I have for tonight. I figured instead of just continuing to answer the same question over and over again in the comments, I figured I'd make another video addressing these two specific questions in particular. The why can't you just find him question, and also the get as much information from your mother as possible. Baby, I done squeezed all the juice out of that lemon. And I probably can never have another conversation with my mother about my father ever again, because every time we do,